This is the San Benito Consolidated Independent School District Board of Trustees. It is the regular board meeting, Tuesday, September 8th, 2015, and it's exactly 7 o'clock p.m. Item number 1, we call this meeting to order. We do have an established quorum. Item number 2, roll call. Oscar Medrano.
Here.
Michael Vargas.
Here.
Angel Mendez.
Present.
Arno Padilla.
Here.
Hector Leal. Joe G. Gonzalez.
Here.
Dr. Leo.
Present.
And Mr. Torres. Okay. At this moment, I'm going to call Mrs. Longoria to come up for a moment of silence.
Before we get started with the meeting, we do want to observe a moment of silence for a student from San Benito High School. We just found out today that the student has passed away, and we would like to ask everyone to please keep the family in your thoughts and prayers. So at this time, we can observe a moment of silence.
Item number 3, Pledge of Allegiance to the United States and Texas flag. And item number 4, invocation.
Thank you, Madam President. Today we have two wonderful students joining us to do the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. The first one is Emily Rebecca Leal. She is 10 years old and a 5th grade student at Judge Oscar de la Fuente Elementary. She is the daughter of Laura Alicia Ledesma. Emily has one older brother, Ernesto, and one younger sister, Cassandra. She is an honor roll student who earned a level 3 advanced academic performance in reading. She participates in the school choir and safety rangers. Her hobbies include reading fiction books and attending Palm Valley Gymnastics and Dance, where she is a level 6 dancer in ballet, jazz, and tap, and a level 2 gymnast. Her goals for 2015-16 school year is to earn a Principals Award recognition, earn a level 3 advanced academic performance for reading, math, and science star assessments, and she aspires to attend Michigan State University to become a doctor. For our invocation, we have Mr. Christian Anthony Demansky. He is 9 years old and a 4th grade student at Judge Oscar de la Fuente Elementary. He is the son of Bobby and Alma Demansky. Christian has only one sister, Caitlin. He is an A honor roll student and a perfect attendance student who earned a also level 3 advanced academic performance in reading. Christian has earned the title of millionaire in 2nd grade and became a double millionaire as a 3rd grade student for reading, get this, 2,733,202 words during the 2014-2015 school year. Congratulations. Christian's hobbies include reading Harry Potter and Percy Jackson, watching TV, and playing football for Mercedes Pop Warner as a corner, linebacker, and quarterback. Christian's goals for 2015-16 school year is to earn all A's, become a double millionaire again, and help others in school. He aspires to graduate from Stanford University and become a doctor specializing in surgical procedures. So welcome to Emily and Christian.
Excellent.
To the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Will everybody please bow your heads? Dear Lord, we thank you for the many blessings you have given us. You have given us the gift of life. You have given us our health and well-being. Dear Lord, we ask that you give Dr. Leo and all of our school board members wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with them in their deliberations and help them make wise decisions for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in their leadership. We ask that you help them share their individual and collective gifts with our school and community, and to give of themselves in ways that make a difference in our families, in our students, in our schools, and in our city. For all of this we give thanks. Father, in your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
We want to recognize the parents of Emily and Christian. So if they're in the audience, can you please stand? The parents of Emily. Congratulations. Good job. Congratulations, sir. We also want to recognize Principal Ron Diaz and Assistant Principal Mr. Hausler, who are here joining us from Oscar de la Fuente.
Item number 5, special recognition. Mrs. Longoria.
We are delighted to have some students from San Benito High School joining us this evening for some special recognition. These are students that took AP Scholars exams, and they fared very well. So you'll be meeting them in a few minutes. And I do need to mention to you all that some of our students graduated already, so they're off in college. But we do have one parent that was able to make the meeting. And his daughter is up in college, and so he did join us this evening. And if there's other parents in the audience of those students that have already gone on to college, they're more than welcome to come up to the front to get recognized. So we're going to get started with Kimberly J. Aratia. She's a senior. She was a senior last year with the class of 2015. So she's one of our honorees. The other honoree is Julia Chavez, also a class of 2015 graduate. We have a junior from San Benito High School, Felipe A. Contreras, who was not able to make it. Senior Laura C. Cordova, a class of 2015 graduate. Her father, Adolfo Cordova, is in the audience, and if I could please ask that his father step up to the front so he could earn recognition on behalf of his daughter. And that is Mr. Cordova, and thank you for coming over to accept the award on your daughter's behalf, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We also have Melissa Jimenez, a class of 2015 graduate. She's in college as well. We have San Benito High School junior Wilbert Padron, who is present. And our board member, Mr. Joe G. Gonzalez, is doing the honors. Maya M. Rasmussen, she's also another of our honorees, and she graduated with a class of 2015, so she's off in college somewhere. Rianne Riojas is one of our students earning recognition this evening, and I believe she's here with us. Another of our honorees is Reed J. Smetter. He graduated with a class of 2015 and could not make it. We have San Benito High School junior Aaron Solis, who is joining us this evening. We have another junior joining us, and it's Jocelyn Tejada, and she is present. Also joining us is Jennifer R. Torres. And we have Aaron A. Adame.
I would also like to recognize the principal, Henry Sanchez, and mention higher education coordinator, Sandra Ruiz, and she is assisted by Lupita Pina. And Mr. Henry Sanchez, I believe, is in the audience. And I'm going to explain a little bit about how these students receive the distinctions. The AP Scholar Recognition is granted to those students who receive scores of 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. And we have one student, Jennifer Torres. Where's Jennifer? She's an AP Scholar with honor recognition, and she was granted this due to the fact that she received an average score of at least 3.25 on all AP exams taken, and received scores of 3 or higher or on 4 or more of these exams. So congratulations to Miss Jennifer Torres. And then Aaron Adame, he is an AP Scholar with distinction, and he earned this recognition. This is granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.5 on all AP exams taken, and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more of these exams. So congratulations to our students. At this time, we would like to recognize the parents, because I know we have some very proud parents in the audience. If your student is here earning recognition tonight, please stand and be recognized. And we also have some family members, such as grandparents, that are in the audience, proud grandparents as well of some of these students. Don't be shy. So congratulations, students, on all your hard work, and we're very proud of you, and thank you for bringing this great recognition to our school district and to our community. Keep up the good work. That concludes the special recognition portion for the AP Scholars. Thank you. Next, I'm going to turn it over to our Interim Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Filomena Leo, and she has a presentation for some of our schools and some of our school principals. Dr. Leo, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Longoria. Members of the board and members of the community, in this day and age, much is said and much is heard about high-stakes testing and how much pressure and how much stress schools experience because of the demands of these state and federal tests. And as a board, I know that this group of concerned citizens are always monitoring and always want to know how did we do, as do parents and school officials. This evening, I would like to call attention to the good, to the great, to the celebrations that we should be holding for those schools who achieve above and beyond the standard. Those who are able, because of the combined effort of administrators and teachers and parents and students, to reach levels that are known as distinction. There are 4 indexes in the state's system for testing, and of those, schools are able, if they reach the level, are able to earn distinction. And I would like to call up, and we have certificates, thank you, call up the following principals, and all principals were invited to the meeting tonight. And with your kind permission, I would like to acknowledge as well all of the efforts of all of our schools, and in particular to recognize Mr. Henry Sanchez, San Benito High School. Please come up. The high school received distinction in the area of student progress. That means they were able to have their students reach levels above and beyond what they had the previous year. And San Benito High School, every school that reaches distinction is placed in a ranking with the top 25%, about 40 schools in the entire state of Texas that have similar demographics. So in other high schools that are very similar to San Benito High School, in the area of student progress, San Benito High School was ranked number 3. That's very impressive. Congratulations. Mr. Gilbert Galvan of Veterans Memorial, would you please come up? Veterans Memorial Academy reached distinction in the area of math performance and in the area of student progress. Also demonstrating gains and ranked in the top 25%. Veterans Memorial was ranked number 12 out of 40 similar schools in the state of Texas. Congratulations. I'd like to call up Ms. Moncevalles, principal at Berta Cavazza Middle School. This school achieved recognition. Thank you for reminding me, the previous year's principal who helped reach this level of distinction. This is what we call collegiality and teamwork. Mr. Ray Saldana. Very gracious. Congratulations. And they achieved distinction in the area of math performance. From Riverside Middle School. Riverside Middle School. Mr. Isasi, would you come up, please? Who was the principal last year? Mr. Wood. And Mr. Wood, previous principal and administrator, achieving distinction in the area of math and science for this campus. Congratulations. Congratulations. I'd like to call up Ms. Delia Cornett for Dr. Cash Elementary. Come up, please. And I apologize, I wasn't here last year, so if there is another administrator to recognize, Ms. Moncevalles. Very good. Thank you. And this school reached distinction in reading, English language arts, in student progress, ranked number 8 in the state, in closing the performance gaps, number 8 in the state, and in post-secondary readiness. I believe they were able to achieve just about every distinction possible. Congratulations. Ms. Basilian, principal at Landrum Elementary. And Ms. Mendoza was principal last year. And this campus achieved distinction in student progress, gains made, and they were ranked number 9 in that area in the state of Texas. And I have La Encantada Elementary, Ms. Martinez. And they achieved distinction in the area of science. La Paloma Elementary, Ms. Flores. Libby Flores. And they received distinction in the area of science. Ms. Espinosa, principal of Ed Downs Elementary. And they received distinction in post-secondary readiness. We celebrate the achievements of these schools and all of their colleagues who, in one way or another, are preparing their students to become lifetime learners. Thank you so much, and thank you to all principals present.
Excuse me, principals, can we ask you to step out for a few minutes so we can get your group picture out there? Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations there. Good to go.
Item number 6, Superintendent's Report. Item A, disbursements. B, disbursements by organization. And C, Superintendent Update. Dr. Leo?
You should have received in your packet the disbursements and disbursements by organizations and have had time to review these. I did not get any calls, any questions, so I assume there are none. Thank you. If I may continue, under Superintendent's Update, I direct you to 2 pages before tab number 1, if I may, to a page entitled Summary of School Health Advisory Council in your book, in your board booklet. Sorry. Okay. Do we have a member of the SHAC or the chairperson? Yes. Would you come up, please, Miss, in case there are any questions? This report is a summary of the year's activities that this particular committee of the district completed last school year. And it cites the 4 meeting dates of the committee and the major topics that were discussed there. It ends by stating there are no recommendations proposed by the SHAC, but in 25 words or less, a summary of the activities of the committee.
As you can see, the topics that we were discussed for each one of them in each month were very valuable, and at the end, the committee did not have, any recommendations. So at this time, we are ready to start our next one, which would probably be in October, will be our first meeting.
And this is the committee that oversees all activities for the school district related to the teaching of health education or health-related concerns in the district.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Are
you.
you looking for volunteers or?
We have a lot of parents, and and we have parents from every campus, and we also have community members. So, and yes, we will always look for volunteers too. Okay, thank you.
One follow-up question, I apologize.
Yes.
One follow-up question, and I noticed you said there was no recommendations proposed. Based on the items identified and discussed, was the objective to review whether the school district was providing the service in a satisfactory form? And is that the reason there was no?
I would say yes, yes,
So you're measuring on
It-
policy, you're measuring, okay.
yes.
I mean, and it's good to know that,
Yes.
that you've taken the time and the effort to go back and review this, and you find that at this time, there's no recommendation.
We're all
to
right,
change.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Continuing, there were some manila folders placed at your sitting area, and you will find first a printout of enrollment numbers. If you'll look at the second column to the right, 9/8/15, this is day 12 of this academic school year, and you will note that at the secondary schools, we are over by 29 students, more than we had this same date last year. And at the elementary schools, we are under 167 students, less than we had on day 12 last year. District-wide, the total, we have 138 students less than we did on day 12 last year. The schools, I know, continue to make efforts at following up with families, with parents, and are trying to find those who still have not come in, and some of these may be the migrant families that arrive later.
Do we have those projections as far as migrant students?
I do not have them right now, but we can get that those numbers for you. Yes. Continuing, also in your folder, you will find 4 reports printed out, 3, I'm sorry, related to the school district's final scores and accountability ratings from the state. These were reviewed in depth by the curriculum committee. Our thanks to Ms. Cruz and to Mr. Vargas, who were able to join us, and they received much more than this, but they asked us that we condense what we had. And what you see is the school district's accountability rating, which is met standard. Schools either meet standard or do not, and San Benito CISD did meet standard. I referenced a while ago the 4 indexes. The first one is performance, and in there, student achievement, I'm sorry. You will note that San Benito had a rating of 71, and the state target was 60, so we did better than the state as a district. In the area of student progress, the target score is 20. The district was able to achieve 31. In the area of closing performance gaps, the state target is 28. SBCISD reached 38, so we did better as well there. And in post-secondary readiness, where the state's target is 57, SBCISD reached a level of 73. So we take pride in the fact that in each one of the 4 indexes, and to meet standard, a district only has to meet either 1 or 2, and then meet in 3 and 4. And we were able to exceed state targets in every one of the 4 indices. So we take great pride in that, and again, thank our school officials and thank our parents who support the efforts of the schools and who encourage their children to study and to study hard. The next handout shows you the English and Spanish combined scores by schools, and it gives the comparison of the previous year, 2014 and 2015. And we will leave these for your review. If you have trouble falling asleep tonight, pull this little paper out, and you will see that while we continue to work at improving the level of achievement by our students, that there are many figures here to be proud of as well. And finally, what we included in your packet is the final STAR report and the end of course, EOC index by school, giving also the comparison of 2014 to 2015. And yes, unfortunately, there are some red numbers there indicating slight losses. And I can assure you that principals have already started working very hard with their staffs at setting targets for bringing those figures back up and continuing to excel. Are there any questions over any of these figures? And please, in the days to come, if you wish to have further discussion, please let me know and we will arrange a time.
I just wanted to bring up a comment. First of all, on the high school, you indicated that there's a gain on student enrollment. How is that impacting the school as a whole? Is it, are we okay?
Mr. Sanchez, I'm sure he would tell you it's becoming a tight fit. Mr. Vargas, and thank you, I want to acknowledge, he and I visited the high school yesterday, and I know that Mr. Sanchez walked the campus with us, or rather, he walked us around the campus. Boy, did he make us walk. But your answer to Mr. Mendez? And while he is coming up, I want to acknowledge also that a quick review of dual enrollment counts and AP enrollment counts is very impressive as well. Thank you, Ms. Servillon, for drawing down those numbers, and we will be sending that to you. There are well over 700-800 students enrolled in one or more courses, either dual enrollment or AP, pre-AP.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Mendez, yes, like Dr. Leo said, it is a tight fit. We're right now at about 2,088, but we had some more that enrolled this morning, so that's probably going to go up a bit. But in past years, we started off the year probably around at 1960, 1970, and we've already crossed the 2,000 mark here within the first couple of weeks of school, which is a good thing for us because we're talking about dual enrollment in AP courses, and I think that many of the reasons people are coming to San Benito High School is because of all of the opportunities that they have here at our high school. But yeah, it's a little tight fit, but we're going to work with it and make it work. We're here for our students, we're here for the best of them, and we'll do everything we can to make sure that, like Dr. Leo says, we continue to go up the ranks and keep going and make it a better school.
Any constraints that you might see that you may need some help from us at all? Any concerns?
I think that books are starting to get a little tight, but I know that Mr. Benny back there and I, we've been talking with each other quite a bit in the last couple of days, so I think we can make it work and we'll be fine.
Thank you very much.
You have 79 more students. Are there concerns for the lunch hour? How's your lunch?
The lunch hour right now is going great. We actually have 3 lunch periods this year. And we have gone and we've studied this over the last couple of weeks, and it has been fine. We've had no problems. We had a couple of days there where parents said we ran out of food, but actually we didn't run out of food. It's just that the students have to kind of get used to how many lines we have, and they have to understand, especially some of our sophomores, that if the line runs out of food, then they have to get into another line or go to the cafeteria. But the lunches have been great, very, very manageable, and everything's running really smooth.
I did want to reiterate the point. I wanted to thank you personally for the visit yesterday, the hospitality, and I just wanted to share with the community that it was very impressive, the things that are going on under the high school's roof, from an in-house embroidery with our SPED units, a cosmetology pipeline for students to get a job or get at least an associate's degree, the dual enrollment courses which are being taught wonderfully. I was very impressed, and I think it just reconfirms the fact that we do have a lot of talent here in the district, but we need to make sure we're promoting that and we're using that as our kind of catapult to make sure we're back on the right track. But thank you again for yesterday.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Madam President, that concludes my report, the superintendent's update.
Thank you, Dr. Leo. Item number 7 is public comment. In order to promote effective meetings, the board may act upon more than one item by a single vote through the use of, oh, wait a minute.
No.
No, this is the,
That's the executive
yeah.
session. You need to read that.
Okay. Once again, item number 7, public comment. The undersigned wishes to address the San Benito CISD Board of Trustees, and by his or her signature shows up onto the board that he or she understands the following provisions to addressing the board. The persons or persons wishing to address the Board of Trustee shall register with the presiding officer or designee no later than 5 minutes before the announced time of the school board meeting, shall state their full name, shall state what organization or group, if any, is being represented, shall state the topic they wish to address before the Board of Trustees, shall refrain from commenting directly on any individual school district employee or public official by name, but may instead refer to a specific employment area, job title, or the Board of Trustees as a whole, and shall refrain from attacks on individuals. And the speaker will be allowed only 5 minutes to give his or her presentation. And the individual making a request for public comment is Mr. Edwin Barrera.
Madam President, Superintendent, distinguished board members, I'm here representing the first annual prayer breakfast for San Benito. It is an event on September 17th at 7 in the morning to 8:30 in the morning at KC Hall. It's the first ever event. Harlingen has had 4. And one of the things that I tell people, as long as there are tests, there will be prayers in school. And as long as there is pain in our community, there will be collective prayer together. And so I'm here to invite you. They wanted me to come on behalf of the committee, the churches that are involved, all of them. businesses. They have come together and sponsored these free breakfast tickets. The only thing they ask is if you give it to somebody, they actually go because they're limited 300 seats, no reprint. So we would love to see you there with us, joining the vast amount of people that are coming to pray for our city, our community, our schools, our youth, our families. So we have little bracelets for you as well from our pastor, Jaime Loya, and our pastor Molina, who's also the one that's coordinating it. I came to give these to you today. And if you need more, any principal or any teacher, anybody, we want anyone that wants to pray with us to go, obviously. And so the San Benito Chamber of Commerce has more tickets for anyone wishing to get more. But those are for you guys. And again, if anybody wants to be there, we definitely don't want to hold anybody back. But we are limited to 300 because of the facility. The other thing I just want to tell y'all is congratulations. Y'all have done a great job. I am a product of San Benito CISD. 5 of my kids have gone here. And I just want to brag on what your principals, your educators, your teachers, you guys have done. Joshua is in Colorado State University right now. He has a perfect 4.0 GPA. Denise is about to graduate from UT Austin. Joel is a marketing major in Kingsville, wants to come back and help me with my business. Danielle got a Texas grant to study in Corpus. Jonah is still a junior in high school, and his target is Harvard. So there's nothing wrong with our system. It is powerful. It is good. But I, as a parent, have done a lot of prayer for them. And without faith, without our belief in an almighty power that can help change our world and change our families, this means nothing. And so I just want to say thank you on the bottom of my heart from me and my wife. We thank you for the work that you do, and we invite you to come out and join us for that day. Thank you.
What time, sir? What time?
7:30.
7 in the morning.
Pero-
7:30. 7 in the morning?
7
Okay.
in the morning.
Do you know más o menos how long it's going to be?
It's
Casey Hall.
7, 8:30 in the morning. It's just an hour and a half. That's it.
Oh, okay.
And it's very specific prayers. There's different pastors and different leaders will be there. I know Senator Lucio will be there, but there's just about prayer. It's no titles, no thing. We're just getting right to the point and asking God to intervene for our community.
Awesome, Edwin.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Barrera. Item number 8 is action agendas, and in order to promote effective meetings, the board may act upon more than one item by a single vote through the use of consent agenda. Consent items placed on the agenda shall be marked with an asterisk. Consent items or items for which no board discussion is anticipated and for which the superintendent recommends approval. Prior to the time which approval of consent agenda is had, at the request of any member of the board of trustees, any item on the consent agenda shall be removed and given individual consideration. So under business and finance, item 1509A-1, report on the HVAC chiller replacement at Oscar de la Fuente Elementary School. Any questions? Consent. Item 1509A-2, request for the approval of resolution authorizing the setting of the 25th ad valorem school taxes and providing for discounts of such payment.
Question.
Okay. Item 1509A-3, request for approval of 2014-2015 budget amendments. Any questions?
Question.
Item 1509A-4, request for approval of 2014-2015 final budget amendments. Any questions?
Question.
Item 1509A-5, request for approval of 2014-2015 budget transfers. Any questions? Consent. Under administration, item 1509A-6, approval of the Texas Curriculum Management Program Cooperative 2015-2016 TEACS resource system. Any questions?
I
Consent.
have a question.
Oh, yeah. Question. Okay. These are not. Okay. These are not. make a correction on that. These are not consent items, so we'll just go over them. Item 1509A-7, approval of the 2015-2016 DMAX software license agreement with Region 1. And then item 1509A-8, approval of the Communities and Schools contract agreement for the 2015-2016 school year. So we will go back to, do I have a motion to go ahead and approve the consent items? I have a second? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, say nay.
Motion passes.
Motion passes, I'm sorry. Okay, we go back to item 1509A-2. Question?
It's not really a question, but my understanding is generally resolutions are to be read out loud before they're approved.
Yeah.
So I would only ask that it be read so that the community can hear the resolution, and then I'll move to approve.
So, do you want to read it? Dr. Lee?
Oh, she has it.
Okay, she has.
If I may, the resolution reads, "A resolution authorizing the setting of the 2015 ad valorem school taxes and providing for discounts on such payments. Whereas the Cameron County Appraisal District has completed the 2015 valuation on taxable property in the San Benito Consolidated Independent School District. And whereas the school tax roll has been certified and accepted, and whereas there are school taxpayers who desire to pay their 2015 school taxes before January, provided they receive discounts from prompt payment, now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Trustees of the San Benito Consolidated Independent School District, Section 1, that the school tax collector be, and he is authorized and directed to accept payments on 2015 ad valorem taxes based on $1.30 per $100 valuation. That $1.17 per $100 valuation be levied for the local maintenance fund, and that $13.1349 per $100 valuation be levied for the bonded debt fund. Section 2. Any taxpayer who shall accordingly voluntarily pay his 2015 taxes before January shall be allowed the following discounts. A, 3% if the tax is paid in October. B, 2% if the tax is paid in November. And C, 1% if the tax is paid in December. And Section 3, this resolution shall become effective October 1st, 2015, after it is passed and approved this 8th day of September, 2015.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those against say nay. Motion passes. Item number 1509-3, question?
Yes, Chair, President, I think this is for Ms. McCall, with your permission, Ms. Lou?
Yes, sir.
Ms. McCall, this is the final amendments to the 2014-15 budget year, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, this would be closing out the fiscal year?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
So moved.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say nay. Motion passes. Okay. Question, item 1509A-4, question?
And I will apologize, I actually didn't have a question on this one, it was '05. But with your permission, we're present, even though it's already been approved. I'll skip a question on this one, and I will have a question. Ms. McCall, if you could just please look at the one invoice on your transfers. There is a late penalty, fairly high dollar late penalty. I would just ask if anything could be done to have that excused or to assure ourselves that we don't have a late penalty. And again, it's not on the budget, I apologize, I'm going to jump to the one that's already been approved, but it's under E4. In your invoice, you're showing a $225 late penalty charge.
Generally speaking, under the school law, we're exempt from penalties.
Okay. Well,
So-
the invoice shows it, and your total value includes it. So you may want to look at that one.
I will take a look
Okay,
at it.
because if it's not one we should pay,
We
then
won't pay.
then it needs to be removed off the bottom of the invoice, because it is tallying with that $225 late charge.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No other questions? No. So moved.
All those in favor say aye. All those against say nay. Motion passes. Okay, items, under administration, items 1509A-6 is consent. Item 509A-7 is consent, and item 509A-8 is consent.
Madam President, if I may, item 1509A-8 is a return item, and the board had asked for additional information on that contract, and we do have someone ready to present on that.
Good evening, Dr. Leo and President and board members. My name's Eva Perez, and I'm the program manager for Communities and Schools of Cameron County. I do apologize for my executive director not being able to be here tonight due to health issues. But alongside with me, I've got my staff from San Benito, all the site coordinators from the 8 campuses. And I'm honored tonight I'm hearing all of these presentations and recognitions. And I would like to share with you all that 2015 marks our 20th anniversary here in Cameron County. And I'm proud to announce that San Benito School District has been with us for the past 20 years. And as site coordinators, we started with a caseload of 50 back then, 20 years ago. And this year, we've got a caseload of 130. We are funded by the districts as well as TA. And TA believes that CIS of Cameron County is here to encourage our at-risk students, and they fund us as well as the local school districts. Because we are mandated and we're funded through through TA, we are also mandated with the requirements and guidelines. And so CIS, our mission in the school district is to surround our students and families with community resources to help them succeed and stay in school. Our role as site coordinators, our staffs are degreed and experienced personnel who have the passion to assist their students and family, and they will go above and beyond to assist the students in their needs and their requirements. Site coordinators, you're probably wondering what they are. They are like social workers. They bring in from the community, they bring in resources to help the students and the families of the district. Some of the ways that our site coordinators assist is we help students with school supplies, with clothing, eye vouchers, medical vouchers, transportation. We help the families if they need any type of assistance, filling out any type of assistance for housing, for food stamps, for Medicaid, Medicare. We do home visits to make sure why the students are not in school. And sometimes it's because of lack of supplies. They don't have the right attire. Just a pair of tennis shoes is keeping them from being in school. So these are just some of the few social services that we provide as site coordinators. Because we are funded by TEA, we are mandated to be trained in social services. Therefore, our site coordinators on a monthly basis will be trained on any new guidelines as far as the social services are needed. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and introduce my staff, starting with Mr. Perez. Mr. Perez is at PRC. Ms. Cruz Ramos at Berta Cavazza. Clarissa Pereira, and she's at La Paloma. Marisela Montalvo at Riverside. Thelma McGrubby at San Benito High School. Milton Herrera at Angela Leal. These are our staff. We've got one missing, and it's because she's going to school, but it's I have Irma Galvan at VMA, and Irma Paredes, and she is at Frank Roberts. But she's continuing education, so she was excused this morning, this evening. At this time, I'm going to go ahead. I have a principal that is wanted to talk in behalf of CIS, so I would like to introduce Libby Flores from La Paloma.
Mr. Galvan will be my Vanna White tonight. Vano, okay, sorry about that. Mr. Galvan, and I'm sure all the principals that do have these site coordinators are very pro communities and schools. And this is just a small sheet just reiterating some of the things that have already been said. The value of communities and schools, it dovetails into state and district initiatives such as the professional learning communities, which are PLCs. It is also an integral part of T-TEST Domain 4, and it's a connection through professional practices and responsibilities. So if you look at some of the things that we do at school, and I'm sure Mr. Galvan would like to share a few of the things that they do, our social worker provides academic support, and as others do. Students learn to give back to the community. We have the pasta drive for pennies, and we have a food bag drive collection. And we also have a career day to encourage kids to stay in school. And Ms. Ferreira does, as all the others, because we have worked in conjunction with some of the other site coordinators, to get people to come to our campuses to speak to our kids about the importance of careers and staying in school. And that'll also hit us on index, I think, 4 eventually. And the next thing, we also have a pep rally for Star Motivation. We also have it's also a mentor. And children learn to volunteer and to assist and to help others. And the home visits are very critical, especially out at the country schools. And just like it was mentioned, there are times that, we notice when kids aren't coming to school and they didn't have a pair of shoes. So they went out there and got them a pair of shoes. And it is done through community outreach. So we have Walmart, Lowe's, CIS Emergency Fund. We have the Food Bank. We have the Can Tab Drive for Ronald McDonald House, United Healthcare, United Way, and the After School Program. On the back, you will note from TEA, Communities and Schools in Texas. It's very supported by the Texas Education Agency. And it just gives you a little bit about how it's important in the state of Texas. And I will tell you, it's very important at La Paloma, as it is at VMA, and as it is at all the other schools that are represented here. So at this time, Mr. Galvan, you can be Mr. Vano.
I just want to say that without them, we couldn't function because they are there. They even go out and help us get vouchers when parents don't have the monthly rent. And our kids, they know, we have a dress mode, and they even have clothes for them, and they meet the dress mode. They help us in all areas, starting with instruction all the way to community services, and they are a great asset to our community, and they're part of our campus, and they'll help us in any way, even in tutoring if we need a child to be read to or helped and transcribed, and they're ready for us at any time. So I want to thank you publicly, and they train in my campus in the summer, and they're awesome. And I love them because they like to eat, and I love to eat too. Thank you, guys, and anything you need, we're there for you. Okay?
I did. I had a question. I don't know if you were going to open up questions. So I wanted to know just essentially or very briefly how you identify students. What's the system like for identifying students and having them be part of the program? And
The students are identified by the district as at risk. So our site coordinators work hand in hand with the principal, with the administrators to identify those kids.
is it a certain, so it's a combination of economic and academic, or I'm just trying to get a good picture of.
Actually, it has nothing to do with income. It's really, if the student, we have 13 criterias that they have to qualify. If they meet one of the criterias, they qualify. And the recommendations are taken from anyone, from the parent, from the student itself, the administrators, the janitors, anybody that feels that that student should be recommended to communities in schools. We go ahead and get the recommendation. We have to have a parental consent form in place, meaning that the parent has to give us permission.
If I may add in response to the
Yes.
question about what qualifies a student to be at risk, those criteria that she was referencing, they are primarily academic need, but they
Yes.
also include behavioral needs that a
And
student may
attendance.
have, a history of retention that's academically related. There are a series of them, but they're primarily academic and behavioral issues
Yes.
that a student has demonstrated.
And is there a reason there's a cap at 130? Because I could imagine in a building you have more than 130 students who need these services.
Well, because we are mandated by TEA, that's the number that they give us. Every year they give us different. Last year it was only 100. This year they told us 130. So it depends on TEA.
I want to congratulate you and your staff because you're doing an awesome job of what I hear. But you gave us this chart,
Which one?
caseload and improved. What does caseload mean and improved and
Okay.
all this stuff?
Because we have 8 site coordinators at the 8 campuses, last year they were given 100. That was their caseload. But within those 8, I had 2 supervisors, and their caseload was 85. So therefore, the case managed means the amount that was picked up by the 8. There's a number right next to it.
Right.
If you look at the yellow,
Right.
okay, the yellow is what we picked up. The
Okay.
purple is what was improved.
Okay.
Okay?
So you have a lot of work to do.
Yes.
Just one more question. Can you expand on academic support, ma'am,
Okay.
for the board?
Okay, academic support, what we do is we, let's say that we have a student that has failed 2 or 3 classes, core classes, and they need that one-on-one. The teacher can refer those students to us, and we would do that tutoring on a one-on-one, because sometimes they need additional time, and that student needs that one-on-one, so we can do that. They'll send them to our office, and we'll go ahead and do that one-on-one.
Until the student picks up the grade, or just for a couple of weeks, or how does it
No,
go?
what we do is because the district has every 6 weeks and every 9 weeks, so we monitor their grades, not, to make sure that if he's failing, we make that contact with the teacher to make sure that he's turning in his assignments, so that way his grade will be up there. And we make that contact with the teacher, and we check the student, and we tell him, you know what, we're gonna have that relationship with the teacher, so we are gonna not just take your word that you're turning in your assignments, but we're making sure that they are. And when in time of testing, we remind the student, okay, you're gonna have a test, make sure you go to bed early, make sure you study, and then in the morning, we'll do that reminder, and we do a lot of encouragement, and we say, yes, you can do it, even though at one point or another you didn't do it. And I can just give you an example. I myself was a site coordinator back in 2006 with Oscar de la Fuente, and that was a 6th grade campus, and I had a lot of students that had their self-esteem was very low, and I would talk to them, and I told them one time, I said, you know what, if you make a 70 or a 60, to me, in my eyes, because you've never had 100, to me, you've never passed that test, but you make that effort, a 70, in my eyes, would become 100. And sure enough, the students would come to me and say, look, ma'am, I got a 71. So I would post that 71 right next to my hundreds, because I saw that that little boy or that little girl made an effort. And then I took it a step further. We do a lot of parental involvement. I would pick up the phone and I would tell the parent, ma'am, can you do me a favor? Your son passed the test. He's so proud. Can you cook something special for him and tell him that he's being rewarded? So we open that communication between the parent and us, and this is how we can get that student to produce. And sure enough, the next time, that student would try harder, and then he would come and he says, I got a 75. So, you know, it takes a lot to encourage, and all of my staff, we have the passion to go above and beyond, and we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that that student succeeds, because we are sometimes the only persons that they have, because sometimes there's issues at home, and we sometimes become their second parent, and they trust us. We built that bond, and we built that bridge to make sure that they have someone that they can come to and make sure that we're going to help them. And I think at one point or another, all of my staff have gone through that, and we all have so many success stories to tell you that our program works because we have the passion, just like your teachers, we have the passion to go out there and help them.
And that was,
Go ahead.
well, that was my next question, is it seems that there are a lot of metrics that are not quantifiable. It seems like maybe academic support could be quantifiable. What metrics do you guys use to ensure success or student growth? Or maybe the district has that data by student cohorts, but just essentially what metrics does communities and schools use to ensure there is student growth and success occurring?
Well, like I said, TA gives us deadlines and guidelines that we're supposed to have. So we have a progress report that report is called, and we monitor whatever we pick them up. We pick them up for academic, attendance, behaviors, basic needs. We have to monitor every 6 weeks or every 9 weeks, and we need to we monitor, we speak to them, we do the parental involvement, and we try to make an improvement plan for that individual student to make sure that they meet it. And if they don't, why aren't they? So we bring in the parents and we bring in the teachers, and we all sit together, and that's why it's called Communities in Schools, because we bring everybody together to benefit that student.
I have probably not a question, more of a comment. First of all, you brought some wonderful news.
Thank you.
And I can see that everybody's passionate about what they do, and we want to thank you for the passion that you bring to the school. But I will say this, promote what you do to the district and to us, because when we sit and look at budgets, we're not able to recognize sometimes where the money's going and what result we're getting from it. The reason this was tabled once before is I think there was a lot of questions and no one to answer them, and or at least for us to get a perspective of just exactly what return is happening, or what return are we getting on the investment put in. Like every school district, budgets are tough.
Yes.
We're trying to make room for salary increases. We try to do everything, try to fit every possible activity that we can into a school district's budget. So when you have programs such as this one, that obviously is having a positive change in a positive direction, we need to hear about it. I would recommend that at least twice a year, come and bring us a report of the activities that you're holding and the success and where you're going, because that assures us that we're getting that return. You know, you have principals that have spoken up on your behalf. We trust our principals are doing a wonderful job. But again, when we're looking at numbers, it is hard to tell.
Okay,
Thank
I will take it. Thank you.
I'd like to mention that, you know, under community outreach, you have Walmart, Lowe's, Food Bank, and all these organizations, but I'm hoping that you would in there add families in San Benito, because there have been families in San Benito that have donated either clothes or food and washers and dryers, and I have,
Yes.
you have a very special site coordinator out there. Irma Galvan came to my house one day, and she asked me whether I had anything to donate to help the families. And of course, working in parental involvement for many years, I know the needs of those families that live out in the country or
Yes.
don't have the money to pay for their children's school clothes or supplies, and sometimes even to wash their clothes. So I'm very proud of Irma that she came over just in time, and I was able to donate a washer and dryer to a
Thank you.
family. I never met the family, but please include, if
Family.
you don't mind, other families, because
No, on the
I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure there's many other people out there.
And just for your information, at each of the campus, they do have a closed closet, and they all circulate a flyer toward the beginning of the school. And the teachers will bring in their donations, and they're kept there at their campus. Aside from there, at our central office in Brownsville, we have a room full of clothing, blankets, and things like that. And anybody is entitled to them as long as they send in a recommendation or a proposal. And these items have all been donated by the community from all over. And they're accessible for anybody that needs them.
I move to accept.
Thank you.
Item number 9, closed meetings, discussion under the authority of the Texas Government Code. We already did. Right, we already did. Discussion under the authority of the Texas Government Code, 551.071, for the purpose of private consultation with the board's attorney on any subjects or matters authorized by law. 55.1074, for the purpose of the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, to hear complaints or charges against a public officer or employee. A, report on personnel, and B, employment, resignation, and retirement. We convene into executive session at exactly 8:07.